like, bro, yeah, she got a kid. Look at his back. Oh my god. Hey, what's up, welcome back to another reaction. Today from me reacting to Cartho's Dojo, or Carthu's Dojo, yeah. What if Broly was sent to Earth instead of Goku? Huh. Well, I think Broly was older than Goku. Wasn't he? Yeah, he was a little older than Goku. So he's going to be a bit more mature by the time you get there. It's definitely way more powerful. Like in power level of 10,000. I think Goku had a power level of like 4 or 5 or some shit. You know. And he, just alone by himself, was able to take out damn near everybody on Earth. Like, no one was fucking with Goku. Like, the whole Red Ribbon Army. Destroyed them niggas. All the androids and threw at him. Like, General Tao. I'm like, wait, Broly? I don't know, man. If he hits his head or something like that, maybe like some type of cliche to like maybe where his power is not as full always. Because if it's 10,000 off the bat, and he obviously no one's gonna be able to defeat him up until like Vegeta. But then by that time, you know, Broly, when he's fighting people, his power just adapts to whoever he's fighting. So as he's fighting that person, he just gets continuously stronger. Very dangerous. Yeah. But hey, we're gonna see what we did with this alternate timeline. I reacted to one of these in the past, or Goku going to Barris's planet. I don't think I did. Did I only do one part? I don't know, but it blew up. Got like 2,000 views, man. That's crazy. I don't know, I want to hop back into that, but if you're enjoying the reactions, hit that like button, subscribe, and share. It's a road to 10K subscribers. We're gonna hop right into the video.
A young Saiyan was deemed a threat to the royal family and was to be banished by King Vegeta to planet Vampa, a desolate world that would surely result in the... On planet Vegeta, a young Saiyan was deemed a threat to the royal family and was to be banished by King Vegeta to planet Vampa, a desolate world that would surely result in the child's demise. However, the child's father, Paragus, was quick to find out about his son's exile, which allowed him to reroute the ship to planet Earth before it left, a much safer world that Broly could live on without the fear of death. The same could not be said for Paragus, though. His actions were taken as acts of treachery, and he was to be executed for his crime. King Vegeta asks if there's any way to track the ship, and his technicians say the ship seems to be headed for a worthless planet called Earth. King Vegeta is visibly angry, but there's no point to dwell on it. With Broly off-world, he wouldn't be a threat to the royal family. Eventually, Broly lands in the forests of Mount Paozu, where an old hermit named Son Gohan finds him and takes him in as his own. The landing was rough and caused Broly to hit his head. He remembers nothing of the Saiyans, nor is he as aggressive as he would be otherwise. However, one morning, Broly wakes up a bit too early. The moon is still in the sky, and he looks at it, transforming into the mighty Ozaru. Luckily for Grandpa Gohan, the moon would soon set and return Broly to normal. Notably, Broly's resting power level is 920, meaning his Ozaru form would be 9,200. Luckily, he didn't destroy Vampa in the original timeline when in his Ozaru form, so he probably wouldn't destroy Earth either. Despite Grandpa Gohan warning Broly to avoid the full moon, another accident would happen, and this time, Grandpa Gohan won't make it out alive. This all happens before Goku is even born, as Dragon Ball Super's Broly is 5 years older than Goku. So 5 years have passed since Broly was sent to Earth, and back on planet Vegeta, all the Saiyans were called to return to the planet at once, resulting in the largest gathering of Saiyans in years. This made Bardock extremely suspicious, however Guinea puts Bardock's suspicions to rest, causing him to give up on sending Goku away. Unfortunately for them, it wouldn't be long before Bardock was shown to be right, and despite his best efforts to rebel, he gets destroyed with the rest of the Saiyans. Goku never becomes Goku. He dies as he was born, Kakarot. Years pass until Bulma finds a 17-year-old Broly alone in the mountains with nothing but a small home and a Dragon Ball. At 17 years old, he's basically fully grown, much like Goku, who is slightly shorter than his full height at 18. Also, his in-universe name is Goku, but for the sake of simplicity, I'll be calling him Broly in the narration, but just know his name would be Goku in the story. From here, things play out the same for the most part. When they save Turtle and meet Roshi, Broly receives the Kinto-Un, Flying Nimbus in the dub, and Bulma acquires the Dragon Ball. We don't have to talk about that anymore. Broly is rejoiced to find someone who is close with his grandmother, grandfather, and he says he will train with him after they finish collecting the Dragon Balls. Roshi says he'll prepare for the occasion and sets off into the ocean with Turtle, heading back to Kame House. From here, the notable difference from the original is Broly. He's far stronger than Goku and far quicker to kill in order to protect someone, so people like Oolong and Yamcha are killed immediately. This doesn't happen before Yamcha could chop off Broly's tail though, something he considers his last act of defiance in the face of someone far more powerful than himself. Next is the journey to Fire Mountain, where we meet Ox King and Chi-Chi. They plead to have their castle saved, and Broly throws a powerful punch to blow the fire out without requiring Master Roshi's help. This display of power is extremely impactful on Chi-Chi, who has a newfound interest in Broly, but not in the way you'd expect. That doesn't matter for now, as our heroes continue their journey, leaving the king and princess behind. Now it's time for Pilaf's castle, where Bulma and Broly are trapped with the sleeping gas. Broly's punches are far stronger than Goku's Kamehameha was in the original, allowing them to escape their imprisonment and stop Pilaf from getting his wish. The Pilaf gang make their escape, and Broly is about to go after them, but Bulma tells Broly to let them go. They already have the Dragon Balls. Bulma summons Shenron and wishes for the love of her life to be brought to her, but Shenron says he can't do that. The being who is to become the love of her life is far too powerful and cannot be transported against their will. He apologizes and asks if she has another wish. Bulma storms away in a rage, and Broly innocently asks Shenron if he could give him the 4-star Dragon Ball back, but once again, Shenron says he can't, as the Dragon Balls must scatter after a wish is made. Broly is upset at Bulma for not telling him this, and with a little fear and remorse, she chooses to avoid all responsibility and wishes for Shenron to send her home. Her wish is granted before Broly could get too angry with her. With Bulma gone, Broly is back to square one. No, worse than square one. He's alone, nowhere near his home, and with no Dragon Ball to give him the comfort of his grandfather. But that's when it hits him, his grandfather. Broly remembers that the Turtle Hermit said that he knew his grandfather and offered to train him, so Broly gets on the Flying Nimbus and heads the direction Roshi left with Turtle on the beach, eventually coming across Roshi's island and Kame House. This is where one final change occurs in the story, the lack of Krillin. In this story, Krillin doesn't leave Orin Temple, dealing with the bullying of his seniors rather than going off on a perilous journey to some unknown island to train with a man who may only be a legend. This doesn't mean that Broly will train alone though, because Chi-Chi joins him on the island, being told about Master Roshi by her father, who trained with Grandpa Gohan years ago. This was the interest Chi-Chi took in Broly. After seeing what he was capable of on Fire Mountain, she sought to grow stronger. Roshi accepts both with open arms, excited to see what the future of martial arts can bring, and as a favor to his disciples from so long ago. So training begins, and it's immediately clear to Roshi that his normal training would be far too easy for Broly, so he increases the weight of Broly's shell and continues to increase it daily in order to make it somewhat of a challenge for him. Roshi himself even partakes in an intensive secret training while he has Turtle monitor his 2 students. If he wants to keep Broly interested in martial arts, he'd have to show him that not everyone is far below his power. After 8 months, the Tenkaichi Budokai is here, and Roshi enters under the alias of Jackie Chun, while Chi-Chi and Broly enter under their own names, of course. All 3 easily make their way through the tournament, with the only challenges being each other. Due to his secret training, Roshi is able to take out Chi-Chi in the semifinals, leaving the final match as Broly versus Jackie Chun. With no tail, Broly doesn't transform into a Nozaru, but Roshi is still forced to use his buff form in order to keep up with Broly at all. The two fight it out until eventually Roshi's stamina gives out and Broly secures his first tournament win. After the tournament, Broly finds Bulma again. The two do make amends, and Bulma is profusely sorry for how she treated Broly and happily gives him the Dragon Radar to go and collect his grandfather's 4-star ball. From here, the Red Ribbon Army arc is basically just easy mode due to Broly being completely overpowered, so just take any fight Goku had trouble with and say that there wasn't an issue in this version. Tao Pai Pai still manages to kill Upa's father, Bora, but the assassin is immediately killed afterwards by Broly, who is just innately stronger than him without requiring special training. This leads to Broly wanting all the Dragon Balls so he can revive Bora, so he takes on the rest of the army with no issues, and this leads him to Fortune Teller Baba, where he has to compete in her tournament. Broly takes on all of her combatants by himself, eventually leading to his reunion with Grandpa Gohan. This moment is heartfelt and full of emotion. Grandpa Gohan spends his remaining time chatting with Broly and asking him what has happened since his death, and Broly just tells him everything. After hearing about Roshi in the tournament, Grandpa Gohan tells Broly Broly to travel the world for the next 3 years to gain more power and mastery. Once 3 years pass, he should return to hold his title at the tournament. Broly agrees, and as he does, it's Grandpa Gohan's time to return to heaven, so they say their goodbyes and part ways. Broly retrieves the final Dragon Ball and makes the wish to revive Upa's father. With speed far greater than Goku's, he catches all 7 of the balls before they can fly away. Broly then takes the balls with him on his journey around the world. Broly arrives at the tournament 3 years later, now 20 years old and fully grown, and is wearing a Turtle School uniform that he had gotten made for him on his journey. This tournament is once again a joke, and Ten Shinhan is beaten so badly that he goes on to wander the world in search of new ways to grow stronger that are outside of traditional training. Perhaps he even climbs a certain tower to meet with a certain Grand Master. After the tournament, Roshi and a notably taller Chi-Chi congratulate him on another victory. Broly forgets his stuff in the tournament building, so Chi-Chi goes back to get it for him, only to be ambushed and killed by Tambourine, who was after the Dragon Balls Broly had in his possession.
Yeah, see, he had already blown through everyone so far, so it was like, he was really going to be a challenge to him. I don't think it's really going to be a challenge up until maybe, no, not even Vegeta, because by the time he reached Vegeta, his power level would be, yeah, all this fighting he's doing, I mean, maybe Vegeta for a little bit, like if he goes into his grade 8 form, perhaps, but even then, I don't think he would really be able to do much, because Broly still has his hidden power, which he has not tapped into yet. So if once he hits that like a Kari form, he doesn't have to turn grade 8. I think only Frieza could probably kill him. Like, because you got to think about it. If his power is within a certain range at that time, I don't know. Because, like I said, once he starts fighting someone, his power starts to grow exponentially. So I feel like once he got into that real type of altercation with Frieza, eventually it would just get to the point where he would just completely destroy him. Then he'd probably mess around and destroy the planet because like he can't stop rampaging, kill everybody on it.
After realizing that Chi-Chi was taking way too long, Broly goes back to the arena and finds Chi-Chi's lifeless body on the ground. He begins to enrage. He asks the tournament announcer who did this, and all he could do is point in the direction the monster who did it flew off in. With no dragon radar due to it being stolen as well, Broly gets ready to fly in that direction, but not before painfully transforming into his Ikari form. Without even thinking, Broly figures out how to fly on the spot and chases Tambourine, only to find him behind a tall man who has just made a wish on the Dragon Balls. No time for him though. Broly quickly kills Tambourine in a single attack and then looks at the man who is of course King Piccolo. King Piccolo has wished for his youth back and killed Shenron, mocking Broly for being unable to save his pathetic friend. Despite Broly's imposing presence, he still thinks he can take the young Saiyan. This isn't true though, and Broly is not in the mood to be mocked. He kills Piccolo with ease, not before the Demon King is able to spit up an egg before succumbing to his injuries though. This leads to a period of depression for Broly where he goes into isolation, feeling like a failure for letting Chi-Chi be killed and having no way to revive her. It's a 3-year-long isolation, but eventually Kami enters Broly's mind and tells him that Chi-Chi is alive and well. Broly doesn't believe him, but Kami explains that he's the one who created the Dragon Balls, and Master Roshi did everything within his power to revive his student. That's right, during the 3-year time skip, Roshi trains with Master Karin and Ten Shinhan so he would be strong enough to journey to Kami's lookout using the power pole that Broly had left at the tournament. He then pleaded with Kami to restore Shenron, and Kami eventually gives in, knowing they'll need everyone they can get for the reincarnation of the Demon King Piccolo. Kami tells Broly that if he wishes to see his companions again, he should enter the tournament and defeat Piccolo Jr. Broly agrees without a second thought.
Yeah. That's crazy. I didn't really expect for him to be able to do anything. I don't know, Piccolo Jr.? Maybe at this point, if he's not tapping into the Kari power, you know, if his power level is still around like 1,000, I don't know. Maybe Piccolo Jr. can do something, throw it to the hands for a little bit. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think anyone's really gonna be a threat until he gets to like dynamic arc, and you got these guys. You got power levels that's like 45,000, 100,000. You know, Captain Ginyu, Frieza. Like those are probably the 2 dudes that you can probably get in some trouble. Captain Ginyu for a little bit. You know, Frieza though can definitely be a problem. But Frieza's not. If I was Frieza, you can't be playing around with these type of dudes. He likes to talk and shit. I would have just beamed these dudes the minute they even show. Like, come on, man. Like, you're transforming your final form and beam these dudes. Like, you sitting here trying to monologue and shit to do what? I don't know. Hey, if you enjoyed the reaction, let us know in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share, man. We're going to see you next time. I would be. Peace.
No.